Hi guys, welcome to the K Show. Last episode we talked about how I plan my training, and this week I want to talk about progress and how training should be measurable. Training with power is quite recent, but the advancements of technology makes things cheaper. It is much more accessible at the moment, and people should actually really benefit from it. But talking about training with power, I don't have the credentials to talk so much about something that I just started. I had a chance to talk with someone that has built an entire professional state cycling team from scratch to win medals in the recent junior cycling meet and developing youngsters who have been able to beat the professionals in the recent SUKMA events. Thanks to psychology, I have the chance to talk to Louis Pang, the head coach for Sabah State Cycling team, also known as the Speedster coach, where we will talk a little bit on how his training philosophy has shaped the Sabah State Cycling landscape. So without further ado, this is the interview with Louis Pang. Alright Louis, welcome to the K Show. We are happy that you can make it. So
the honor is all mine.
Okay, tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you become the coach for Sabah Cycling team?
Okay, I have to start from my journey as a cyclist. I used to be obese and very unfit and have lower back problems, and it became worse to the point that I couldn't work for 3 months. So the doctor said, Louis, you need to pick up cycling or swimming, and I chose cycling, and I lost a ton of weight. As I improved, I became competitive. I started asking around, hey, where can I get a coach to help me get better? And there was none available in Sabah. I said, how can that be? Because you have basketball coach, football coach, swimming coach, badminton coach, no cycling coach. So I got interested, I read up, then I found out there's a course, UCI coaching course in Thailand. I paid my way, show up in Thailand, and I attended the course and I took my license. And then when I came back to Sabah after the coaching course, I met up with the Cycling Association and said, hey, I would love to coach, how do we start? So then I was introduced to the Sabah Sports Council, and they put me on as a part-time coach. I was running my own business and I was coaching part-time from then. So that's how it started. In 2017, I recruited my first athlete. January 2017.
Wow. What actually made you want to become a coach? Because I know that you were an award-winning photographer back then.
Yes. Because Sabah Cycling, we kept losing. And I hate seeing Sabah lose. We would race a local race, and we have a local race every year. It's called the KK Century Race. And we have cyclists from Semenanjung, Malaysia, from KL, Penang, Brunei, and Sarawak, and they will win everything. So I saw that happening for 1 time, 2 times. I said, no, we can't be this bad. So there must be a way out. So that's one motivation, actually.
Oh, that's interesting. What has changed when you took over the Sabah Cycling team, and what was the bigger philosophy that you tried to implement?
Before I came in, I think the cycling and the junior team, for instance, we didn't have a full-time coach for a long time. And even the times that we had coaches, the understanding at those days were, oh, we have a race coming up next month, let's start working hard this month. We finish the race, we go back to cycling with our friends, and that's about it. And then the training would resume again, maybe 1 or 2 months before the next race. So it's start, stop, and the stop tends to be longer than the start. So when I comes in, I realized that needs to change because endurance sports, you need continuous training. Yeah, you have your seasons of racing and you have a tapering season, you have a transition season. But you know, if you go to a swimming pool, you see the state swimming team, they'll be training year round, you know. Of course, there are certain days the loads are higher, certain seasons the loads are higher than other times, but training should be happening mostly year round. So that's the first thing that we changed. We have a structured training and the training happens pretty much year round.
Cycling is technical. There's a lot of variables to look out. What are the first few things that you look at to know your athlete's performance?
Okay, now when they first join the team, it's hard to know them, but after they've been with you for a while, we break down the analysis of a performance to 4 areas: physiological, psychological, technical, and tactical. So we look at things in these 4 quadrants. Okay, physical is easy, you know. If you train with power meter, you know where is the threshold power, what is the best 5-minute power, what is the best 5-second power, 30 seconds power. We know that. You know their recovery heart rate, you know, after they have done this effort, a minute later, how many beats per second, beats per minute, your BPM, how many beats per minute it drops. That is an indicative of your aerobic fitness. So all this we record. So getting the physiological profile is easy. Then you have to look into the psychological profile. Is this person, does he handle stress well? You know, some people train very well in training, but when it comes to big race, they freeze. So then we have to figure out why and how to help them. So for example, we have athletes who, when we first joined a national race, they were shaking at the start line. So that can be a matter of the lack of race experience. So the more they race, the more they pick up things and the less nervous they become. Then you have the technical. Are you good in cornering? Are you good in descending? Some of us, we are very good in the flat or in the climbs, but we may be holding our brakes the whole way down a 5-kilometer descent. So that itself, you will lose out in a race. If you corner badly, you will lose out in a criterium for sure. So you need to analyze what are the technical skills, the technical things that we need to look into. And then there's the tactics. Okay. When do you brake? When you hold the wheel? Now, in a road race, it's very difficult for a coach to come in and analyze because if it's a 120-kilometer race, you don't have a camera with the athletes the whole time, so you can't tell. So what we do is, after the race, we deconstruct. Okay, you got dropped here. What happened? You lost touch with the brake group. You were in front, but you lost touch with the braking group. What happened? So we start asking questions. We deconstruct as much as we can. What happened during the key moments of the race? Oh, the final corner before the final sprint. Where were you? Oh, you were at the back of the pack. And there's a corner. And after the corner, there's a final sprint. You're not going to win the final sprint if you are the last person entering the corner. So these are the things that we have to analyze after the race. So then we create this profile. Okay, the physiological, the psychological, the tactical, the technical profile of each athlete. That's how we measure performance.
How has training with power been integral in Sabah Cycling team?
First of all, most of our athletes, they are students. They're secondary school students. So they have tuition classes, they have homework, they have exams, they have schools, they have the social life, family life. And we didn't have a lot of roads to train on. So training time is always limited, right? And we can't train on the road during peak hours, it's way too dangerous. So what we did was we trained on Wahoo kickers. That was one of the best investments we make for our team. So when we get onto Wahoo kicker, Each session is very focused. Oh, are we working on the zone 3? Are we working on the zone 4? Are we working on your anaerobic threshold? So every week, every session has a purpose, and we stick to that. For instance, you have a season of haze, or you have a rainy season when you can't cycle outdoor at all. You can still do it indoor. We can modify to maintain fitness by training indoor. So having smart power trainers is definitely a game changer for our team.
Can you walk through us how does a cyclist day look like under your training?
Now, when we first started, we trained maybe 5 to 6 days a week. When I say 5 to 6 days, it means each day we have one session. So Monday one session, Tuesday another session, so each day one session. But that was the first year, and we thought we were working really hard, you know. But when we came to the second year, we changed that. We have double sessions every day. So you can be on the road in the morning and then on the trainer in the evening, or you can be in the gym in the morning and then you'll be on trainer in the evening. So we train double sessions 5 days a week, and then on Saturday we had a long ride, for example. So Saturday is usually half day and Sunday is a complete day off. So when we first started doing it, you know, it was difficult because the athletes are not used to it. But so we kind of like ease our way into it. It's not like overnight double sessions, so we have to ease our way into it. So that's typically the schedule for athletes. So the athletes, if they are training in the morning, they will train before school. They'll wake up at 5, we train at say 6 o'clock. After training, they shower, then they go to school. And then after school, they come, and then they train again, either on the road or in the gym or back to the trainer again. So that's the typical day.
How do you get the best out of each athlete?
First of all, you need to know everyone's starting point. So this person is weak in endurance, but he's very good in a 1 minute power, 1 minute sprint or 1 minute effort, very good. So then you want to tackle that. So you try to improve the endurance by, you know, getting him on longer rides, getting him to do some zone 3, zone 4 kind of effort to move his endurance level up. Or for example, or another person can be very good in long efforts. He or she can time trial for half an hour and keep the engine going. But this person just didn't have any explosiveness at all. And every time there's a break, just didn't have the kick to kind of like chase down the break. So everyone is different, so you kind of like have to figure it out. But the figuring out is made easy because of Power Meter. We adopt a test that's issued by UCI. It's called a 38-minute test. I mean, people can Google it and find it on YouTube. So the test basically tests what is your anaerobic, your peak power, what is your 5-second power, what is your 30-second power, and what is your 4-minute power. So from that test, you pretty much know the profile of each athlete. Okay? Every athlete has a profile, right? Nobody is good in everything. So from there, you know where to start, what you're dealing with. And also, the 38-minute test is also very good for talent ID. Not everybody is an endurance rider. Yes, cyclist is an endurance sport, but not every cyclist is an endurance cyclist. So when you go into track cycling, you have the sprinters, the power athletes, and then you have the endurance athletes. How do you know who is an endurance athlete and who is a power athlete? The 38-minute test will give you very good indication where you stand. Okay? And then you need to get hold of the universal power profile. Okay? If a good endurance athlete, their 20-minute power should be at this range. You know, a good sprinter, their peak power should be at this range. Their 5-minute average power should be in this range. So when you recorded all these tasks, you get the number. But what does the number mean? How does that number compare to the rest of the world, compared to the rest of Asia? So when you have the benchmarking, you know what you're dealing with. Whether this is a big talent, or this is an average talent, or this is someone that needs a lot of polishing, you know, so you have an idea where you're starting from.
Training with power, you'll be dealing with a lot of data, right? So since you are a coach and you have a lot of athletes under your wing, how do you actually analyze and keep track of everyone?
I'm very busy. I don't have time to write things down on a piece of paper or keep a folder and scribble down, you know, today's peak power is how much and tomorrow's peak power is how much. Because in a year we have maybe 100, we run hundreds of sessions times, you know, 6, 8 athletes, that 800 sessions, 800 files that you need to deal with. I don't have time for that. So what I do is I pay for training peaks, and it allows me to capture all the data from my athletes, and it will manage the files for me. I know where was the historical best power for, say, the best 5 seconds power. When was it recorded? Beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year? You know, that becomes important because you want to track the history of each athlete, their progress. And it's also a good way to keep track of, okay, we have started this training block to help them improve their endurance. We have done this for 4 weeks. How do we know that this block is actually effective? Now, again, the software will keep track of the key benchmarks so that I can refer to it and say, hey, after this, he recorded the new best power for 10 seconds power. So that is an indication that the training that we have prescribed is actually working. So that's how I do it, training peaks.
Besides training with power, what do you think actually makes a difference when your athlete goes out in a race?
I think the most important thing outside of power is mindset and attitude. If the brain shuts down, the muscles won't work. I did an experiment with my team. So we were in a team meeting and I was sitting in front and I said, hey, I need someone to come up here. I didn't tell them what I need them for. I said, I need someone to come up here. Nobody came. And after a while, someone did. And when that person came up to me, I gave him $10. And I said, that's it. You can go now, you can go back to your seat. So everybody was like, what is he trying to do here? What mind game is Louis playing? And I explained to them, say, hey, you were sitting there 3 feet away from me. Okay? Why only one person came up to me? Is it because you didn't have the power in your legs to move 3 feet towards me? No, it's because you're thinking, coach is trying to get me to do something stupid. He's going to make me lead a group session or whatever, which I don't want. He's going to embarrass me. It's negative, 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 negative. So even he has 300 watts per kilo, even he has 5 watts per kilo, he has 300 watts of FTP. Because this shuts down, he couldn't take 3 steps to come up to me to collect $10 from me. Now, that is a continuous lesson that we are learning. Every time we go to a race, I'm not going to beat this guy. He has been training for 3 years. You know, I won't beat him. So final sprint, let him go, you know. So, or this guy is a national rider. I'm not. So there's no way I can beat him. He is attacking. Just let him go. If this says no, it doesn't matter how much power you have in your legs. It just won't go. So the mindset and the attitude is the most important.
Awesome.
And it starts from me as a coach. Because if I have a wrong mindset, if I have a negative mindset, they will pick it up. See, we're not training cyclists. I want to emphasize, I'm not here to train cyclists. I'm here to train fighters. Anyone with a bicycle is a cyclist, but not every cyclist is a fighter. So that's my philosophy.
So what's next for you and the Sabah Cycling team?
I think we need to step up. 2018 has been great. We won 8 gold medals in junior cycling Malaysia, track cycling. 2 bronze medals, 2 silver medals. We won 2 bronze medals in Sukma 2018. We were up against 21-year-olds from other states, from national teams, from professional teams. We sent school kids from Sabah and we prevailed. So 2018 had been a fantastic year for our team. We have gained a lot of confidence. And now, having said that, we need to up our game. What we have done well this year, next year we need to do better. And that's the challenge, because in Sabah we don't have a velodrome to train in, we don't have a lot of roads to do a lot of mileage with. So that's something that we need to look into. But for me, problems are good. These kind of problems are good because it challenges us to be resourceful. A lot of times when I hear people say, "Oh, coach, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, therefore very difficult lah, susah lah." I hear that all the time. For me, susah is good. Susah is when we challenge ourselves to be resourceful. Hey, how can we solve this problem? We don't have a velodrome. How can we improvise our training? How can we get near to the velodrome? How can we get access to the velodrome? I don't have a bicycle. How can I buy a bicycle? So instead of waiting for handouts from the government, instead of for people to drop a sack of money on our lap to solve our problem, we have to think proactively and seek solutions proactively to find those solutions. So that is the next challenge for Sabah. How can we bring our program that has been successful in 2018 to the next level? And I believe we will be successful in getting more help, getting more resources to take us to a higher level.
Okay, any last few words to the viewers?
Get on the bike, cycle more, because we are in cycling because we love the sport, right? Keep loving it, nurture this passion. If it means sometimes you have to go on a international trip, overseas trip with your friends to go on some epic rides, do that. If it means waking up 5 o'clock in the morning so that you can do a cafe ride with your friends, do that. If it means winning more races, do that. Commit to what you love doing. I think when you're in love with what you're doing, every issue, every problems, every setbacks, it's easier to tackle.
All right. It has been a really inspiring talking to you. We at the K Show really would like to thank you for your time and effort. Thank you so much, and we hope.
Sure thing. The pleasure is all mine. Anything. We are in this cycling community. We are a community, and if we can lift the spirit of the community, that's all good. Thank you.
Before that, maybe you want to let the viewers know how we can get more information about you.
Okay. To keep our conversation going, I maintain my Facebook pretty actively. It's facebook.com Louis Pang. And then I have Instagram at speedster.coaching. So this is where I stay active, and I'm sure we can get more conversations going after this interview.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for your time.
That's a wrap.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Louis. This interview has opened my eyes a little bit more on how to plan my training, how training with power should be integrated in triathlon and also cycling training. What are the mentalities that we need to put into when we are trying to do training? I hope that it will be useful for everyone as much as it has helped me. So do check out Louis' page, Sabah State Cycling team at Facebook, and I wish them success in the future. Thank you so much, Psychology, for the opportunity, and see you soon in the next K Show.